now.
You all didn't know the old me, that for 40 years, Darren, I was a kamikaze. The fact that I'm alive is a miracle.
How about that?
I've ridden steers, jumped off cliffs, been shot and been shot at, and I survived it all.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's all a true story, by the way. Welcome to the RP Show. RP here. Moose DuPont there. He's brought his own coffee out here today. What are you doing over there? What do you got?
Making coffee.
Caliber coffee?
Caliber coffee in a French press. We've been distracted this morning, so I didn't get around to making coffee.
I know. And actually, who was that back there? 15 seconds ago, we weren't sitting in these chairs. We were out in the lobby, and somebody yelled, 10! It was Alan the intern.
Yeah, right.
I didn't recognize the voice. Does Alan have a voice?
Not that loud.
So we're here. We made it. We always make it.
Yes. How about that?
How about that? It is episode number 493 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. We welcome in Canadian sports fans from around the world and our American neighbors. I'm excited about the guests today, as always. It's going to be a lot of hockey talk. We got Jason Gregor coming up from TSN Edmonton. Nice work, Clark. I said, can we get somebody from Edmonton to talk about the Oilers and what's going on there? Obviously, quite the up-and-down week for them. Eric Engels will join us from Sportsnet Montreal today as well. Huge game tonight. The Montreal Canadiens looking to stave off elimination as they host the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 6 of that series. So, are you excited? What's your prediction for your Leafs tonight?
It'll be, I don't know if it'll be over tonight, but I don't see the Leafs, stumbling in this series. But to be honest, I'm not really excited about it because, again, you said it's boring. I won't go that far because it's still my team. My team's never boring, but it just doesn't feel like any urgency, right? It doesn't feel like anything special. To be honest, I was more glued into the two games last night, the Panthers game and the Golden Knights game, and looking for Game 7 tomorrow.
Well, let's quit dilly-dallying and get into the quick six show topics then. I like it. I like the cut of your jib. Thank you. And I noticed, by the way, somebody said there's no YouTube. YouTube's not up today. The fellows were telling me that there's YouTube's had gremlins. Blame YouTube, of course. Of course. Could never be our thing. Pat McAfee was off the air yesterday, I understand, because his is a YouTube show. So if you can't find us on YouTube, you're obviously not on YouTube. So go to Facebook Live or Game Plus TV, which is where we are today. Making a lot of new friends through Game Plus viewers, too, by the way, if you've noticed. The mail is up. It's going through the roof.
Big time.
So my NHL leftovers from last night, from Wednesday night in the National Hockey League, coming up here right now. What did I have? Okay, it doesn't matter who the goalie is for the Vegas Golden Knights if they can't score goals. And I think we can settle in on this for a while. Got in a bit of an argument with our intern, Rachel, because she's in Toronto. And she said that the Golden Knights made a mistake by starting Marc-Andre Fleury last night. She said they should have started Robin Lehner. And I said, really, does Lehner score goals? And I just realized I need to just back away from my phone on nights that my team's playing, especially when they lose. And one thing about Rachel, our intern from Centennial College right in Toronto, she likes to stand back and just chuck bombs. She's not afraid. She wasn't backing down. So to put it this way, Marc-Andre Fleury is not the problem with the Vegas Golden Knights because he can't score goals. They lost 3-0 in Minnesota last night, and I'm upset because it's going to Game 7 in the Fortress tomorrow night. And by the way, my second leftover says that wasn't goaltender interference last night. But again, I probably should just put my phone down when my team's playing because you don't see things clearly.
But to your point, Peter DeBoer is not in his coach's office this morning being like, the goaltending was our problem last night, right? He's looking at, why didn't they score enough goals? If it was a one-goal game and it was a couple of bad goals that changed the game, then, maybe you second-guess that decision. But I don't know that he or Kelly McCrimmon or anybody is second-guessing the goaltending decision. I think it's, how do we generate some offense against this really good defensive group in Minnesota? I mean, was there even 50 shots between the two teams last night? It was a really quiet game. It was a quiet game.
The Minnesota Wild are beating the Vegas Golden Knights at their own game.
Yeah.
And it's disturbing. James in Henderson, Manitoba is watching, and James Henderson in Borden, Manitoba is watching. Where did it go? I thought of you, Rod. I was watching Vegas lose. I have zero sympathy as a Jets fan. Hey, James, I didn't ask for your sympathy. Point 3, Ethan Bear is our brave warrior, which he is, and I don't need to go any more down that road. We discussed it yesterday. We're all standing with Ethan. New York Islanders continue to be my dark horse. Been getting asked a lot on these shows. And by the way, I'm on CJOB Winnipeg in an hour with Cam Poitras talking about this next round. And he says in Winnipeg, they all think the Bruins are going to beat the Islanders in round 2. And I said, you go ahead and think that. I'm not jumping off now.
I know. Why would you jump off now? I mean, the Bruins are good. They're good. But so are the Islanders. And we know the Barry Trotz magic, right? And he just knows what strings to pull. They've shown in that Pittsburgh series that they can get a little greasy, right? And play a little back alley hockey. We've seen that in series. They're getting good goaltending. Islanders can pull it off.
Absolutely they can. And Joe Lazito is watching from Long Island. He says, good morning, Rod, Moose, and RP crew. Pretty great day here on Long Island. Let's go, Islanders. And then the other leftover was that I can't believe Florida and Tampa Bay have never met. They've been in the NHL for almost 30 years. How does this not happen? They've had reasonably good teams, especially Tampa. They're in the same division. How do they never meet till now?
I know. Wild. And
it was wild.
I hope it happens more often. I mean, Florida just didn't get enough timely goaltending in the series. I thought they went toe-to-toe with Tampa. And, you want to say whether they controlled play or didn't control play. The truth is they lost the series. So they didn't play better. But it was fun. And I hope it happens again and again and again.
Darren and I have talked about this. We can talk Stanley Cup playoffs for 2 hours every day, and we'll be just fine. But we do need to move on, right? So, from Catlin Hogan watching on Facebook. He says, absolutely was goaltender interference. The right call was made. Well, you're a Wild fan, and it's my show, so go get your own show.
How about that?
I'm annoyed!
I know.
Point 2, the Blue Jays were rained out in New York, so the Alek Manoah debut gets pushed to today. It's going to be a doubleheader in the Bronx. I wrote the times down here. 12:05 Mountain, where we live, and 5:05 the second game of the doubleheader, roughly. Oh, by the way, there's a huge furor breaking out. I'm not following the NBA playoffs as much as I have to. Like, if there's a night off in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I'll watch it. But are the Knicks playing the Rockets right now? Do you guys know?
Alan knows.
Alan?
The Hawks.
The Hawks. Okay, who's Russell Westbrook playing for? He got popcorn dumped on him. The Wizards. I'm loosely following this morning on ESPN. Russell Westbrook got popcorn dumped on him last night. I thought it was in New York, and there's this huge thing going on. Philly? I don't know. Whatever. He got popcorn dumped. It was in Philly? Okay, thank you. Alan, the intern's really stepping up today.
Well, last week when you were gone, I had him send me the NBA report in my inbox so I could read the bullet points, and he was top
Can I
notch.
get that, Alan? Eddie, it doesn't matter. They're all going nuts that Russell Westbrook got popcorn dumped on him last night, and they're saying this is it. The fan should be banned forever. And what would have happened if Westbrook had gone into the crowd and assaulted the fan? No, it was in New York that somebody got spit on last night. That happened too.
Fans are back.
We're back. And we're in a pandemic, and we're spitting on people. So I just find it funny because here in the sweatpants capital, you've never really seen it, but our fans to throw stuff at opposition happens all the time, man. Are you kidding me? It's not even a thing. It's not even news. It's a Monday if we're throwing stuff at the players. So have we come so far in society now that you should have never been able to throw stuff at the players? I understand that. But really, you were just tossed out. That was the worst thing that would ever happen to you. And now they're talking about a lifetime ban.
That was the worst thing. And they had it in their facility meetings. They're like, okay, when the fans throw stuff, let's just make sure they don't have glass bottles. So let's put all the beer in plastic cups. So when they throw it, they're not going to kill anybody, right? They planned for that. That's why you don't have glass bottles or, things like that in the facilities. Because they anticipate it, at least you would think.
I'm so used to it. And I'm glad that Joe Lazito is watching in Long Island because Way back when we started this show, and I don't even know how Joe found us, and we were only digital, not live streaming, I said, I'm just too old. I think I'm out of touch. I don't think I should be hosting a show. Remember me saying that? I'm like, I'm just too old school. And he's like, no, you're vintage. So my point is, in Seattle one night, and you've heard this story, and man, am I getting sidetracked, but we had a goalie by the name of Andy Adams with the Regina Pats. He was 20. And brawl breaks out in Seattle, in the Key Arena, where the Kraken are going to play. Fan reaches over the glass, dumps a beer on our coach, Rich Preston. He grabs a stick off the stick rack and starts climbing the glass. And our trainer, Torchy, pulls him down. It's chaos in the Key Arena. And Andy went out to the top of the circles, and fans were throwing nachos at him and hot dogs. And he's just swatting them out of the air with his stick at his glove. And I'm like, yes, I love this. And like the next night, we're in Portland, and it was Taco Bell night. So 7,000 fans got little Taco Bells like this, but just little ones. Well, so something happened. Brawl again. It was the WHL in the 90s. I'm getting pelted with these Taco Bells, right? Nobody was getting kicked out then. We just lived with it. It was fun as hell. Is that wrong? Is that so wrong?
Well, no. Might be if it happened today.
That's my point.
Different world, yeah. But man, this is great times. Unfortunately, we have to just, enjoy those memories and understand that's probably not happening again.
I remember it like yesterday.
Yeah.
Joe Lozito says old school is the only school, Roddy.
How about that?
I wonder, are we out of touch or is it going to swing back? Theo says the world is too far gone. It's too far gone. We just talked about it last week. It's not coming back. I know I'm not changing. Anyways, point 3, big crowds at NHL games. It is weird. And one of our P1s, Todd Pinkney here, says the fan had his season tickets revoked and is banned from the Wells Fargo indefinitely. I'm not condoning throwing things at the athletes, clearly. I'm just saying it used to not be that big of a deal compared to what it is now. But you're watching those NHL games. I'm stunned when they said it's only 9,000 because it looks like 30,000 in there. Oh, it sounds like 30,000.
Well, and that's what I said after Game 1 in Florida, Tampa. 9,600 sounded like 96,000. Like, it was incredible. And so I like that. And they've got a great atmosphere going on. In Florida, when they traditionally only get 7,000, keep those tarps with the sponsors, right? And use that to hide the empty seats. And it'll seem full. In Florida, when you come back and there's only 7,000 or 8,000 in there typically on a night.
Yeah.
Awesome.
From Paul Sciabaris on Facebook, he says, shout out to Rich Preston, former WHL Jet, came from Houston, no? Yeah, but he came from Sheldon Williams Collegiate right here in the sweatpants capital. And his dad was the best general manager in Saskatchewan Roughriders history, Ken Preston, by the way. He's my mentor in life and has been called the coolest man in the NHL. Rich Preston. Michael Quinn watching says, old school will come back. Maybe that should be the poll question today. If old school comes back, I'm here for it. Me and Lynch.
Yeah, but
not sure it's going to come back.
It'll come back 20 years from now.
Come on.
And they'll call this era old school. That's old school hockey. Did you see that? He checked him in the boards really hard. Old school.
Yeah. Moving on, point 4, Jason Kenney's proclamation. The Premier of Alberta expecting, if all the targets are hit, that there will be full stadiums in Alberta. My brother proudly proclaims, because he was in the same class at Notre Dame High School with Jason Kenney, that my brother beat him in a debate. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Tells anybody that'll listen. I beat Jason Kenney in a debate at Notre Dame High School, Notre Dame College. I don't know. Kenny's proclamation was subject to the long list of terms and conditions. That's the one thing. I want the CFL to play, but I see people were going wild about this. We're going to have full stadiums. We're playing. And then Dunk comes out with a report at 3 Dunk today that says not one province has approved the CFL's return to play. Not one. That was on 3 Down today. And we talked about it in our morning meeting. I said, we're getting tagged and stuff. People are saying, Rod, what do you think about this report? What do you think about that report? It's been too exhausting for me. It's been 15 months. I'll see you in August. I've checked out. I'm following other things. But I will, because this is the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace, ask you what you think about Jason Kenney's proclamation yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's positive that there's a plan. Positive that there's a plan. And for me, here's where I am on the vaccine in Saskatchewan. And so I've got my shot. But when it came out, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be front of the line to get a vaccine because I'm feeling pretty healthy. And it's the same vaccine. So I feel bad taking my vaccine away when my mom and dad could get their second shot. They could have the one that would go in my arm and they could have it. So put me at the back of the line. I'll get it. I've got no reason not to get it. I'm not against them, but I'm in no rush. And then Mo put out the plan that if we hit 70% of this by this date, we're going to open up phase 2, 70% of 30 and over, phase 3, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not going to hold us back from getting to check 1, 2, and 3. And I booked my appointment. I was there like 3 days later, right? And I think the same thing can happen in Alberta. Is you put out the plan and it's like, oh, now I actually see some targets. Let's go get vaccinated and we'll be able to open up. So I think that's going to help get everybody on board. Seeing a plan is important rather than this open-ended, we hope to get there if the vaccines come, right?
Well,
specific.
Jeff in Calgary, the Stamps fan watching, says, suddenly Alberta may be the place to be if you want CFL football. I'm just following the news like the rest of you people. I don't have any I don't have any inside information. I'm tired of the roller coaster. I can't imagine the guys and girls that work in the CFL, what they've been going through for 15 months. Absolute straight stress and almost trauma for them. So I'm hoping for the best. But it all comes down to the vaccine rollout. And there are high-level people in the CFL that are very upset that the owners did not bite the bullet to play in a bubble. They're very upset. And can you blame them? But I'm not strapped into the roller coaster anymore. I jumped off. Point 5, the National Lacrosse League expanding to the Las Vegas city for their 15th team. And point 6, NFL notes. Clark just told me we've got 30 seconds. I gotta roll. Jason Gregor's up next. The Warmup's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the Stanley Cup playoffs. 909 Arcola Avenue East. Hit them up tonight to watch Habs and Leafs. Right, going to Edmonton next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook. And 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.